Okay, you guys know that music. And our first guest resume is one for the books. A real estate mogul, a shrewd investor, a renowned speaker and business consultant, and a television star. Is a fan favorite shark on ABC's Shark Tank. Barbara Corcoran continues to grow and excel, and she is on a mission to help others do the same. She joins us live this morning to talk about her latest project aimed at helping small businesses bounce back after one heck of a year, and she's going to share her wisdom with all of us. Good morning, Barbara. How are you?
My pleasure to be here, Hannah. Thank you very much.
Well, we're so happy to have you. Let's get right to it. I'm going to pick your brain in just a second. But first, I really want to hear about your free webinar. Why do this? Why do it for free? Your time is valuable.
Because everybody needs the help, and I have a trusted technology partner, AT&T Business, and we're continuing our Business Unusual webinar series presented by AT&T Business because people really need the help. And today's subject is, how do you get a new customer? How do you get the most out of them? How do you keep them happy, make them fall in love with you, and keep them coming back? And today, that's all played out online, which a lot of small business owners don't know how to do.
I was going to say, my parents are actually small business owners. Why focus on small business and bring this information to them?
Because small business employs more than half of our population in America, and yet people label them as small, but collectively they're not small at all. And most people are working for a small business, and right now there's been a tremendous problem, a very competitive market competing for workers to help them run their business. So it's kind of sad. It's like every small business has come through the pandemic thinking they're going to see the light at the end of the tunnel. And when they're at the end of the tunnel now, they're seeing new challenges, which is number one, they can't get people to come back and work for them.
Barbara, at the end of the day, what do you want people to walk away with? What will be a successful event for you?
They will walk away with exactly what I wish them to do, which is a list of 24 at least items that they can take back to their own business and apply it. Because I listen very hard to the entrepreneurs I work with day in and day out. All the entrepreneurs, 80 of them from Shark Tank. I know who's done it right, who's done it wrong. And I've made a long list of everything that works well. That combined with Matt Scanlon, the CEO of Something Navy, who's going to address how do you open a storefront amidst everything? How do you take advantage of a landlord? How do you use technology to get people following you? And so between all of this, if you don't leave with a lot of stuff to keep yourself busy for the next 6 months, then we would have failed. But I'm absolutely certain people are going to get a lot out of the webinar. It's absolutely for free. You just register at 888barbara.com or listen to it at 2 o'clock today, Central Time.
Love that, Barbara. All right. You really are one of my absolute favorite people to follow on Instagram.
You have good taste then.
Thank you.
You have good taste.
Thank you. I try. You're funny, but you also add value with your posts. I want to look at one and talk about this. You said, insult can be a best motivator. Use it to prove the world wrong. Barbara, do you mind telling our audience the story behind this? I know it actually came from one of the toughest moments, a breakup, and how you use that as motivation for this incredible life that you've built.
Yes, well, I had quit my job as a waitress because I had a boyfriend willing to loan me $1,000 to start a real estate business. I didn't know what I was doing, but miraculously, over the 7 years that we were together, we started building a business. We had like 20 people working for us, roughly. And then one day he comes, when I came home at night, I was watching his 3 children every day. He said, I'm going to leave you and marry my secretary. I just couldn't believe it. So that was that. A year later, I finally built the courage to leave him. And to make a long story short, he gave me the gift of a lifetime. On the way out the door, when I was leaving his business, I divided the business. We each went our own ways. He said, you'll never succeed without me. And he had never been vicious like that, but I think he was so upset that I wasn't going to continue this relationship, like nothing had happened. And so I used the power of that insult. I knew I would rather die than let him see me not succeed. And every time I ran out of ideas or didn't know where I could turn, was over leveraged, the interest rates went to 18%, the stock market crashed. Whenever I thought I was going to close my doors, I would think of those words and he would, boom, give me the power. I'd think of one more idea and it would inevitably be the one that would work. And so I don't think it's a good way to motivate anybody with insulting them. But unfortunately in life, a lot of people get insulted, get injured, get hurt. They don't get understood. And most people feel sorry for themselves and take a long time to come back. No, I got great at insult me. I'm coming back like a jack in the box. And if you can form a habit of realizing it ain't personal, It's just part of life. And you just got to come back and prove them all wrong. And that's what I meant when I put that quote in, The Power of the Insult. It's very true. I've lived it. I know it works.
Well, Barbara, I love that. And I know there's people watching at home right now that this is going to mean a lot to them. So thank you for sharing that. And I got to tell you, I'm not the only one with good taste. I'm not the only one who loves you on social media. I hopped on Facebook yesterday. I said that I'm interviewing Barbara Corcoran, asked our viewers what they would ask. Got excellent questions. I want to read you one. Jim said this. Barbara mentioned on Shark Tank that she's dyslexic. What did she do to overcome it? And what strategies does she use today to work at as high of a level as she does with dyslexia?
Well, dyslexia is a gift that's not often talked about. When I had dyslexia in school, I was made fun of and I was quiet because when you're the dumb kid, you don't want to say anything. You don't want to be noticed. But let me tell you something. Thank God I was born into a poor family. We all needed jobs. So from the time I was 11, I worked. I found that once I got in the workforce, whether it be assistant at the kiddie pool or a waitress or a clerk or whatever I was working at, any menial job from those early years, I learned something at every job. And you know what I learned? I learned that I couldn't write, I couldn't read, but I could talk. And I used my mouth to make my living my whole life. And can I tell you, it's normal when people have a deficit, they can't do something well, they tend to compensate with something else if you believe you have a gift there, if you dig for it. And I had a mom who told me I was a genius, even though at school they told me I was a dumb kid. And so I think as a parent, you have to realize you get a kid with a different learning difference, they become innovators when they're older, they become leaders because people are willing to follow them, they have empathy, they're never arrogant. And they've learned the hard way. And there's some great virtue in learning to be humble the hard way. And the great majority of the successful business owners I have met in my life have learning differences. And so if you don't fit in with a mold dictated by somebody else, you can create your own world by going into business for yourself. And I'm as good at business as I wasn't at school. So I've gotten even. You see, it all evens out in life if you just stick around for the game, right?
I think you're more than even. We've got 15 seconds left. What's one of the best pieces of advice you've ever received?
You got to listen to the seminar today to get my best advice. I'm not going to give it away. Okay, 888barbara.com, sponsored by AT&T Business.
Oh, that was perfect.
Got it all in.
Thank you, Barbara. Thank you for joining us. And you can watch Barbara and the
pleasure.
other sharks on Shark Tank right here on ABC every Friday at 7 p.m. You know, Jane, I wanted that advice, but I admire the fact you said, watch my event, marketing, work in it. That was the advice I needed, actually.
My absolute favorite line in the whole interview. I'm coming back like a jack in the box.
I know. I now you get it.
So cute.
Yeah.